Here we go.
You really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker. What do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, let me tell you how excited I am. I'm so excited that I think I tripped a breaker or something here. So we're good to go, though. I know that I went out with the Love Heating and Air crossover between Jake and I. My apologies to Jake and to Eddie for that, but we had a bit of a power outage. But what happens is you have an incredibly talented, elite-level savvy engineer like Dev right here that says, hey, we've got to go to plan B. So we are hooked up out here and good to go. And when the rest of the power comes on and joins me, I will say this, because I am so absolutely fired up about being here. I'm like the power source in the first place. But power went out. We're hooked up. We're all good. You can still join us. We're at the Goodwill location. We are off of Keystone Way in Carmel. This is one of my favorites right here, too, as I've talked about before. The Keystone Way Goodwill location, Goodwill of Central and Southern Indiana. And they're doing a partnership with the Colts here. And there's a donation drive that starts with the Colts coming up at 4. So I'm kind of a precursor to that. I'll walk it up, and then some Colts folks will be here. I know some cheerleaders. I know Blue, the mascot, and we have heard that Grover Stewart is going to be here at some point between 4 and 6 o'clock. But we would invite you to come out and make your donations and know what it means to folks when you make those donations, and also have the opportunity to maybe win some stuff. I shall explain a little bit later on. But again, Keystone Way in Carmel, I love it because we're outside. I love it because I got to pre-show right next door at Wolfie's. And I just love being a part of the Goodwill family right here. I have now for the past, I don't know, maybe a year or so, a little bit over a year. And I'm at this one often. This is one of the great locations, as they all are, throughout central and southern Indiana. It is Goodwill and the Colts donation drive. It is going on today, 4 until 6. But, I mean, heck, this is like the busiest place in Carmel right now on this Tuesday, which is amazing. And we're right here in front. I would love to see you, would love to chat you up. If you have the opportunity, we will look for you right here. But we also have to do a show. We got a lot of busy stuff going on. You have just an incredible amount of injuries. I mean, you thought that you as a Pacer fan were being punished with Game 7, the 7-minute mark of the first quarter, and Tyrese Halliburton going down with Achilles injury and being lost not only for the rest of that game, in which I think we all believed that the Pacers had a pretty solid opportunity to win. So he was lost. They lose. And then you have to go the entirety of the season without him. And then Miles Turner decides to go to Milwaukee in the offseason. So you have that going on. And if it wasn't enough to have to deal with that, now you've got to deal with the start of the season and all these incredibly ridiculous injuries. And I say ridiculous injuries because there's so stinking many of them. We learned today. And my mom is absolutely crushed. Obi Toppin is going to be missing a month. We learned late last night that the Pacers waived James Wiseman, and with that move, they brought in guard Mac McClung. They had to bring in somebody. You have to find some people to play coming up tomorrow night in Dallas. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. In fact, I don't believe I've ever seen anything like this. As I've mentioned, I thought at the start of the season, I put a lot of stock in how they play and how tough they are and with the group that they have, but I didn't bargain for this. You didn't bargain for this either. And for everybody that wants to suggest, you know what, now it's time to tank, listen, you don't have to go out and tank. You just got to find enough players to stinking play tomorrow night in Dallas. You got to find enough players to come back home on Friday night on Halloween against Atlanta. And then go back-to-back with Atlanta and Golden State. And then get the Miles Turner return on November the 3rd on a Monday night against Milwaukee. That's what you have to do right now. You got to find enough bodies. It is ridiculous. We'll talk about that and more with Dustin DePurak, who's going to join us from the Indy Star. I'm assuming he is in Dallas where all this is going on, where the team is right now. He's going to join us coming up in a couple of minutes. Bottom of the hour, Greg Rakestraw is going to join us, his normal Tuesday visit with the conversations around regarding college football. You've got everybody in action, all classes in action, coming up on Friday night in the high school football playoffs. We'll talk about that and then some with Greg coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Bob Kravitz going to join us a little bit later on regarding the Colts and their incredible start at 7-1 and now making believers out of everybody else. I hope to get Grover Stewart on when Grover comes by as well. And Boomer Esiason, if you remember about a month ago, Boomer Esiason, the former NFL quarterback, CBS Sports Network, the Fan in New York, a longtime talk show host. I had him on because I thought that there was probably very few that could speak on what we witnessed with Daniel Jones in New York for 6 seasons compared to what we have witnessed with Daniel Jones through the first 8 weeks of him playing quarterback for the Colts, and the differences and his belief and why all this is going on. And we had mentioned to Boomer Esiason, hey, I want to double back and get you on the show coming up about a month deep, and that's where we are. And Boomer's going to join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, and we will discuss that as well. You could not, I guess you could. You could ask for a win against the Rams, but honestly, you could not ask for a better start than this team has had. They're on the road in Pittsburgh coming up on Sunday at 1 o'clock. We're going to have the Colts pregame huddle for you coming up at 10 a.m. But you have the Colts where they have won, I think, once in the span here in how many years in Pittsburgh. It still will be a test. But, again, it's a Pittsburgh team that is problematic because it didn't play well on Sunday night, especially late in the game. And the reason why it didn't is because it is an aging/old team. Now, still can be good. Still can have their moments. They had moments in the first half on Sunday night against Green Bay, but the moments didn't last in the second half. So still a very winnable game as the Colts are a road favorite to start the week. Still a winnable game in Pittsburgh. That is coming up on Sunday, and we'll talk to Boomer Esiason about that and then some too. So you have the Colts in Pittsburgh and then the Colts in Berlin and then a bye week, and then you have the Colts on the road at Arrowhead versus Kansas City. And if there's a team, another team in the AFC that everybody's talking about right now, and I think everybody's pretty much worn out on talking about Kansas City in the first place, but they had a slow start. They're getting bodies back. They're becoming healthy. And after a couple of picks last night, you saw vintage Patrick Mahomes against the Commanders in that defense. And basically, you saw the Chiefs run away at home and hide from the Commanders and moving on to a win. So there's a lot of the reason why everybody's talking about the Chiefs right now, because they have been there. They have done that. It is Patrick Mahomes. And certainly not a team like the Colts that roll into this weekend in week number 9 with one loss, but at the same time, impressive as of late, and probably becoming more of the Chiefs team that we all expect. Now, that's still further down the road in November. So a couple of games and then a bye week to get right for that. The other aspect we'll talk about is the trade deadline, because that is looming as well. So that and more coming up. Maybe the greatest postseason performance, Shohei Ohtani, and if you stayed up and watched all of that last night, just some amazing stuff to close with Freddie Freeman and the Blue Jays and the Dodgers in the World Series. We'll get back to that coming up in just a second. And good. Keystone Way, Goodwill, the Colts donation drive starts at 4, but, I mean, hell, I might as well go ahead and tell you I'm here, so go ahead and start this right now. We're in Carmel at Goodwill. We would love to see you with a loaded show on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Speaking of loaded, you have to be kind of loaded right now, I think, a little bit to be covering this Pacers team because it's just one injury story, one injury scenario after the other. And joining us from the Indianapolis Star, Dustin DePurat covers the Pacers, and Dustin joins us now. Hello, Dustin. How are you? I don't hear Dustin there, James. Is Dustin with us?
Hey, yeah.
Dustin, are you there? You got us, buddy?
I am. I couldn't hear you for a minute. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad you got us right now because we've got a lot to discuss. I don't even know where to begin in this parade of injuries that, simply put, Dustin, we have never seen around here.
Yeah, I mean they're just stacking up so fast. I mean, other than the Halliburton injury, I don't know that any of them is long term. I know Obi Toppin out for a month, McConnell out, a month from the time he went down. But yeah, no, this many is crazy. Eight guys, could be out. Certainly were out at the end of Sunday's game, and it could be the case again on Wednesday when they play the Mavericks. But yeah, I mean, there's just in so many of them. This obviously, considering with Halliburton already out, you're looking at this team saying, okay, they could still be okay if they stay healthy. And this quickly, they're not, basically. I mean, it's just amazing just how quick this has happened and how many moves. They've already had to make a move to bring in Mac McClung today because they just need anything in the backcourt. But, I mean, it's killer to lose a guy like Obi for a month when you're getting, obviously, production out of that spot. But it's been really brutal, really fast for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it has. I've not seen anything like it, too. And you had mentioned so many people, and you're probably getting this as well in social media, hey, first week of the season, it's time to go ahead and tank. I mean, you really don't have to because you're scrambling so much just to find some healthy bodies right now. You're just trying to get through it. But you mentioned that these guys at some point will be back. That's the expectation. Everybody but Halliburton.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think so. If you're them, you're not thinking of it that way of tanking this thing and saying, okay, to heck with it, because you could. He said Mathurin's week to week. I mean, he was shooting at the end of practice today. I mean, like he can't. Like obviously there must be something there. I mean, they're not faking it or anything like that. I know some people are like, well, obviously he's fine. That doesn't mean he's fine at all. It's a toe this thing can kind of hang around. But yeah, I mean, if he's going to miss a week or 2 weeks, and then you've got Toppin for a month, and you've got McConnell for another couple of weeks, and Cam Jones for another couple of weeks, it's just this particular stretch is going to be brutal. But you're still going to have, even if this takes to game 15 or whatever, you're still going to have, 65 games to go after that. And so they're not going to just pack it in. I mean, that's a lot of basketball to play. That's a lot of time for these guys to be together. They're not going to just completely pack it in just because they're going to have a bad start. But, I mean, they are almost certainly going to have a really bad start. It's going to be very difficult for them to win games. And they have it is not obviously an easy stretch with the schedule to start with. There's you're certainly coming off an Eastern Conference championship. They top load some of these games so they can get you on TV. And it's going to be just tough for them to get through these. It's obviously 0-3 so far. They've been really, really competitive in two of these, especially against Minnesota without a lot of guys. And so they're probably going to be that way, but it's going to be tough to get wins.
It's Dustin DePurat covers the Pacers for the Indy Star. He's kind enough to join us here on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I think another product of what we're talking about right here is just absolute early season work overload, especially on a couple of dudes like Pascal Siakam and Aaron Nesmith, and maybe more so Pascal Siakam because he has put up fantastic numbers so far. But the last thing you want to do with Siakam and his body is to, I think, utilize him into the red as they are early this season. How do you manage that while also trying to play at your highest level with this group and still win games?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really difficult. I mean, because you don't have, you don't have a lot of options even there. I mean, so much of the depth is coming out of the point guard spot, but you're missing wings too. Johnny Furphy's out, at least presumably for this one, because I think he's getting testing. Rick Carlisle said to, in Indy when they get back, so I presume that he'll still be out. And you've got Ben Shepherd who has to start. So I mean, you used to have three wings that you could play from, and plus Toppin, that you could play from 2 to 4. And you're missing all those guys. Or all those guys on the bench at least. They're all being utilized somewhere. So, or not all of them. You saw really Walker is being asked to basically do anything coming off the bench. So, like who do you pull them for? You're going to need Jay Huff to play power forward for one thing. And so it's not easy to take Siakam off the floor. He's so good as a secondary ball handler. He does so many things for you, and he's able to cover up a lot. So you end up looking to him and saying, okay, well, we need him to do this, we need him to do that. You need him to be able to score when you've taken so many, just points off the board. It is really difficult to not just sort of ask him to go in the red. I think where Carlisle he did even see that on Sunday night. After Siakam went for 33, 10, and 9, or 33, 10, and 8. He's like, it was hard to bring off the floor because he wants to be out there. He's playing like a warrior, but how many times can you do that? It's certainly nice they got 2 days off in between the back-to-back. But all the same, you can't throw him out there 37 minutes every night.
Yeah, it's Dustin DePurak of the Indy Star Pacers coverage on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So Mathurin was said by Rick Carlisle to be day-to-day. And give us the latest, too. Week to week from Mathurin. The latest on Nembhard and Furphy, and the whole Hee-Haw gang that's injured right now. What are some of these expectations, I guess, moving forward?
Yeah, obviously, you could tell if you're watching the videos of this, I'm really dragging these out of Rick right now. But I think he said that Nembhard did some on-court work today, but he's not ready. So I presume that means he's not playing Wednesday. I don't know how much longer that one will be. He's been particularly, close to the vest on that one. But he said doing on-court work, I think, it makes some level of difference. I don't think you're too far from being out of the woods on that one. I'm not saying that. I'm guessing that's a no for tomorrow. But could it be Friday? Could it be later in the week, something like that? I wouldn't think he'd be too much longer. I wouldn't think you're talking another 2 weeks or anything like that. But certainly you want to be careful. Certainly with a guy who's going to have a huge workload when he does get back. You want to make sure that shoulder's healthy. So, but I guess it might also be there's a lot of things he can do on the court without having to worry about his second shoulder, or his off shoulder, if you will. But he's, like the way he plays defense, the way he goes at guys, he uses those shoulders. So they've got to be smart about making sure that he's ready for that. Like I said, Furphy's going to get some imaging, get some more tests back when they go back to Indy, so I presume he's still out. It does seem like Talon Peter is close to a return. He said he's better. That it was a groin thing with him. He was at least. I don't get to watch practice. They let me in at the end. But so I saw Peter taking some shots, and he was in sort of full practice gear. I'm not sure if he got to do anything in terms of scrimmaging or anything like that, or anything live. But it seems like he's probably closer to back. Like I said, still looking at November 9th as far as McConnell and Cam Jones are concerned. But I think McConnell in particular seems to be making pretty good progress. I don't know about Jones. Certainly he's had a real tough time. With it's a stress reaction in his lower back. I'm not sure how that thing is reacting, but it does seem like McConnell might be pretty good for close to that target. Being on that's a part of a Western road trip. It's I think it's Denver, Golden State, Utah, Phoenix. So I think there's reason to be hopeful that he could be back for that.
Hey, Dustin, I wonder, too, because I know that OKC's gone through some injuries because the good Jalen Williams hasn't been playing. Caruso, however, was a concussion, and I think that Cason Wallace was back last night when they were playing in Dallas. But is any of this, especially with these guys that played significant roles all the way through the limit of a 7-game NBA Finals a year ago, can any of this be, in this case, connected with just a long playoff run and a lot of basketball at all? We know about Halliburton's situation, but is there a connection or relation to be made here with that?
I would think that I guess just logicking it out. Obviously, I do not have a medical degree, and these guys aren't feeding me this stuff. Obviously, medical guys tend to be pretty close to the vest. But you would have to, where you would connect them, I think, would be the hamstrings. Those are the ones that you would think, okay, that's a wear and tear. situation of putting a lot on, just stressing someone's legs a lot. Long playoffs and also the way these guys play, it asks a lot out of them. The foot with Mathurin, I mean, we saw it. I don't think that's a wear and tear injury. I think that's just he tripped and it just happens. And the same deal with the Nemhard injury. You saw kind of him, slide his left arm in with Shea and kind of get jacked a little bit there. So I think those are just stuff happens, injuries as far as that's concerned. But I mean, I do think the hamstrings, I think, make you wonder about total wear and tear. I'm trying to think of if there's another one that I think Furphy got dinged up. I think those are sort of just, it's a contact sport injury, but I do think the hamstrings are a sign that, it was a long year and a lot was asked of these guys.
So Dustin DePurak of the Star covers the Pacers. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So is tomorrow the day when they're eligible for a replacement player due to all these injuries? And how will they try to handle that? I don't really know how that works. Maybe you can explain to folks out there that don't like me.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of kind of researching that. I got to make that double check that. I know Tony East is all over that stuff, but I think they're close. I think you have to have.
I think it's tomorrow. Dustin, honestly, I think it's tomorrow their eligibility starts. Yeah.
Sounds right. Sounds right for me. And so, obviously they went out and got McClung. I don't know how many you want to try to stack of those guys to go get a 10-day, but it looks like, they're going to be eligible to start dipping into that. Certainly they've tried to throw a couple guys in here and decided they didn't fit. Obviously they had campaign in the camp. Obviously DeLon Wright gets hurt on the first preseason game. So it is a big ask to be able to jump in with these guys, but certainly there's less on these guys when it's a 10-day and you have the ability to use them as a hardship. But yeah, you have to think they're going to look into that. You're going to have to think they're going to take as many healthy bodies as they can take, for as long as they can take them.
So I don't know where to begin, I guess, because of how he played down the stretch in Minneapolis the other evening. But Tony Bradley separated himself from the others as a starter right now as a big.
I don't know that they're going to put him ahead of Isaiah yet. I don't know if they go that far, just because I think they still have a lot of belief in Isaiah Jackson from what he did, prior to the Achilles tendon tear. I think they want that one to work out. But he obviously separated himself from James Wiseman. Those are two guys on non-guaranteed deals, and it always seemed like Bradley was the more likely to be let go. So it really, I think, speaks very highly of him and sort of the faith that Rick Carlisle has picked up in him, that he stuck with him. He'd have been the easiest guy to cut. From a finances standpoint and everything, Bradley would have been the easiest guy to cut. They didn't do it when they signed, when they were going to sign Morris. They didn't do it when they signed Wright. They didn't do it when they signed Payne, even though it sort of felt like obvious, like, okay, this is probably the end for Tony Bradley. He's got 9 lives on that as far as just the ability to stick with it. You're talking about 2 10-days he managed to stick around through. Tony Bradley keeps doing I don't want to say doing just enough. He has been, really solid for them. There's obviously he's limited into how much he can do. He's not a guy that's going to go stand back there and splash threes and average 15 a game or anything like that. But played really solid basketball. Saw a really good connection with him and Ray J. Dennis. Those guys were probably been playing, on the third unit or whatever in practice, and developed a pretty good connection. I was able to kind of help keep them in there. And he got 12 points in that game. So I don't think he's going to start, but he's a major part of the rotation. He's going to matter for the team, especially because you're going to have to get power forward minutes for Jay Huff.
Week to week from Mathurin, this is what Dustin said a little bit earlier, and Obi Toppin is out at least a month. He is certainly the most recent of the laundry list, the scroll, if you will, of Pacers injuries to start the season. You know what? I'm going to keep my head up on this, right? Probably too much here, but I guess there's a reason why the NBA schedule makers start them out on the road and such a difficult schedule, because I guess if you're going to do it and you're going to go through this kind of situation, now's the time to do it, right? Maybe?
Yeah, in a manner of speaking, take your lumps now and, come back and later on it'll be a little bit more favorable and have an opportunity really to get some guys when you get them all back. I still think those kind of core four, when they can play with Nembhard and Mathurin and Neesmith and Siakam, that this isn't a bad team. But it's just like, I don't know how long it's going to be until they can play with those guys and play with Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell off the bench. That I think is a playoff caliber team. I don't think it's a championship caliber team, but I think it's a playoff caliber team. By December, they could be that team again, but don't know exactly how long that's going to take.
Dustin DePurak of the Indy Star covers the Pacers, and he's joining us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, man. Thanks for rallying and joining us here at the top of the show and going over all this, because there's a lot to go over. I appreciate that, man. We'll catch up again soon.
Anytime, JMV. Thanks as always.
Dustin DePurak of the Indy Star, the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, that whole thing just kind of sucks. Yeah, my mom's absolutely wrecked right now because the that's terrible. I tell you what's not terrible. My location, I am right out front. It's me and Dev. We get power back, Dev? Did we? Oh, we're repowered right now. See, here's what happens, James. We roll up to Carmel at the Goodwill location and the power goes out. I think there's something to be said about that, but this is a big deal today, too. The Colts donation drive is going to be going on. They start at 4 o'clock, 4 until 6. We'll be helping them out with that. I just love this place in general. You know how much love I have for Goodwill. And this is our location, Keystone Way. You can stop by. I know Colts cheerleaders will be present. Blue, Grover Stewart is going to be here as well. And we're looking for you. This is busy as heck right now, but plenty of room for you, too. Make those donations. Pull right up curbside and make those donations right where I'm sitting. We would love to see you over the course of this Tuesday afternoon. All right, quick break. We shall return. Hey, the text line is open at 317-239-1070 as well. I'll give you a chance to win some tickets via the text line a little bit later on. Greg Rakestraw, bottom of the hour. Bob Kravitz coming up at the 4 o'clock hour. Boomer Esiason after 5. And we do have stuff to give away on that text line. And we'll also do it with the callers, 239-1070 there. With that in mind, the stream, the app, HD Radio, and you can see me. Hey, James, really quickly, I know I have to take a break. I look like the cover of an 80s new wave album. Have you noticed that? Have you seen this, like, white wall behind me right here? And I'm wearing these sunglasses.
Are we talking about actually live in person? Because I cannot see you right now. The
you
webcam
can't see me right now. We're not.
Yeah, the webcam's not back yet.
Okay, I'm sorry. When it comes on, check it out. I look like I'm on the album cover for the Smiths or something right here. It's awesome. I love where we are. I'm telling you right now, Dev's putting that together. We'll give you a show and have some fun in the process. Goodwill, the Colts donation. There you go, James. You see me now?
Oh, yeah, there you are, looking slick.
Look at that. Look at that right there. Just call me Morrissey. Morrissey's in the house today at Goodwill. Not really, just me. Quick break, we'll come back. We got stuff to give away. The stream, the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Thank you for joining us in Carmel at Goodwill, Keystone Way on this Tuesday with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
JMV.
You're going to eat your fat.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Oh, thank you on this Tuesday. Like Better Than Ezra said, it is good. Goodwill is where we are. Keystone Way in Carmel, the Colts donation drive, which starts with the Colts coming up at 4 o'clock, but I'm kind of the lead-in right here. 4 until 6 for the Colts donation drive. You can come by. Colts cheerleaders, mascot blue. I know that Grover Stewart is going to be here as well. You know how much I love Goodwill. It's our location in Carmel. This is one of my favorites right here, too, at Keystone Way. So 4 of 4, 3 runs, 3 driven in, 2 home runs, and 5 walks. Then I guess he's going to turn around 17 hours later and pitch. Shohei Ohtani. Now, listen, the greatest we have ever seen right here, and I kind of want to equate that, and joining us now, the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, I'm assuming he wasn't that back in the day around Lanesville, but I think we all played Little League or maybe even T-ball with somebody that had those types of numbers like Ohtani had, for example, last night. But normally that particular person had been held back maybe a grade or two and is, playing a Little League with you. Greg, did you have anybody? I had a dude named Todd Cox at the Eastern Little League that you could never get out. Now, he'd been held back about 2 grades. How about you? Did you have anybody like that, like what we witnessed last night in Ohtani?
Not from an age standpoint, because literally, as I was going through Little League, we transitioned from what grade you were in to what age you were. And so right as I got to the 13, 14 age group, it was like, hey, you get to play with the kids that are actually your own age. So I got to experience that. I played a decent amount of varsity baseball as a freshman, and then I went and played 14U baseball the next summer, and it looked like I was hitting a beach ball because I wasn't seeing breaking stuff and things like that on a regular basis. So I could tell you who the dominant players were in my Little League, but not because they brought their wife and kids to the ballpark, fortunately.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like what I had to deal with. I was thinking about that last night. It's just so above. I mean, even the greatest players in the world, or at least as a part of that game last night, and there were some great ones. I mean, hell, the game winner was Freddie Freeman. He's, an elite-level player as well. But my goodness, anything like that, Greg, we've never seen. This is new ground.
We as a species, as a human race, can't agree on anything, with the exception of one thing. Shohei Ohtani is the greatest baseball player that God has ever produced. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Now, between he and Babe Ruth, players typically weren't allowed to be great hitters and great pitchers simultaneously. But if there's one thing we could all say, yep, that's the thing we agree on, it's how ridiculously good that dude is at baseball, and that probably the Blue Jays shouldn't pitch to him again the rest of the series.
Probably a good idea. Greg Rakestraw is joining us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So all classes are unified, meaning on Friday night, all in action. Let's start at 6A that had last Friday off. At the top of those in the top 10, are we looking at 7-2 LN and 4-5 LC just because of the rivalry in general right here?
That is the game that I have on Friday night. And again, much like 1A through 4A, seemingly a lot of the teams were kind of drawn opposite each other in terms of 5A and 6A. The exception is probably Plainfield and New Pal, just because there were 3 ranked teams in a 4-team sectional. The math checked out. Somebody had to play somebody at some point in time in that group in terms of the opening round. Carmel is probably the team that is the most improved or vastly superior to what you thought they were going to be going into the season. Lawrence Central at 4-5 might be next. And Lawrence Central's 2 most impressive, marks on their resume are games that they didn't win, but they were awfully darn close to. So I did this game the first time around when it was the opening game of the season between Lawrence Central and Lawrence North. And LN had the score with basically 2 seconds left to go in the game to win. And this was an LC team that didn't have the highest of expectations going into the season. Then we get to week 9, the last time that 6A played. Carmel hasn't lost anybody in Indiana. Their lone loss was to Trinity. And frankly, nobody in the state had played them a competitive game. LC led Carmel in the fourth quarter. So LC can hang with the top teams in the state. So, yes, you throw in the rivalry element of this game. I've got a good one lined up for my Indy TV on Friday night.
Yeah, here's Greg Rakestraw, the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I guess I'll look at it this way. 7-2, fantastic season for Plainfield. And what do they get? They get the matchup at home, mind you, but get to host 9-0 and Kyle Ralph and New Pal, which is beyond a juggernaut, and that goes without saying.
Yeah, I kind of get the idea there's one team that can match up with New Pal in 5A, and it's the team that New Pal would likely see the next week, and that being Cathedral. Now, New Pal, I think I've got this right, basically would play a ranked team at every step of the way. I think the path for them would be Plainfield, then Cathedral, then the winner of Whiteland and East Central, who are both ranked, and then it would likely be Bloomington South, maybe Floyd Central, who's a ranked team. And out of the north, it would likely be Lafayette, Jeff, or Merrillville. Now, there's 33 teams in 5A. 10 of them are ranked, but yet New Pal probably got the toughest possible draw they could have. And I still think they're going to win the 5A championship because that's how good they are every year, and that's the job that Kyle Ralph does for that program every year.
All right, Class 4A, East Noble is number 1, unbeaten at 10-0, but a couple of good-looking matchups here. Down in Southern Indiana, Heritage Hills 9-1, Evansville Wright 7-3. Roncalli goes to Northview last week and wins in Brazil, and they're 7-3. They get 6-4 Danville. Those are a couple, I think, at the top of the list in 4A coming up, Greg, on Friday night.
Yeah, correct. And again, Wright's is a solid team. I think Heritage Hills is pretty special. I think in 4A, this all points to Heritage Hills and Chittard in the semi-state round. Now, the Roncalli folks, want another crack at Chittard, would likely get them next weekend in the championship game. That was 33-11 Chittard when they played back in week number 3. I saw Chittard for the first time in a long time last week, and they were every bit as good as advertised, and they're 48-14 winning against Mooresville. They got a quarterback in Jack Harrington playing through a torn ACL. He's gutting it out. Danny Adams is all of 5'5" and $165, but he's like the Jonathan Taylor of rushing touchdowns of high school football, the non-Miles McLaughlin division, because Danny has 28 touchdowns in 10 games so far this year. Chittard is really good, and I understand why East Noble is ranked number 1. Chittard did lose twice. I'm a pollster. I understand how the polls work. So, yes, East Noble is a good 4A team and deserves to be ranked number 1. But if you ask me who my 4A favorite is, it's a pretty cut and dry answer. Bishop Chittard.
All right, 3A, Southern Indiana, Gibson Southern 9-1, Evansville Memorial 9-0, and then Knox at 10-0, and I think we know all the reasons behind that, and Griffith at 9-1. Those are two of the highlights certainly in 3A Friday night.
Correct. Those are the two best games in the state to me, period, end of sentence. Because Griffith is really good, and Griffith is a program that had some success back in the late 90s. We haven't talked about them a lot since that time. Play a better schedule than does Knox. Knox's schedule has improved as some teams have kind of shifted conference affiliation over the course of the last couple of years across the state, but especially up in that part of the state. I think the game of the week, I had to pick one of the two, it would be Memorial and Gibson Southern. Memorial, being in 3A, they were up to 4A for several years, now back at the 3A level. They're really one of the smaller schools in their league in terms of the Southern Indiana Athletic Conference. So they are undefeated, playing largely 4A and 5A competition. Gibson Southern has not lost to anybody in the state of Indiana. They play a couple of out-of-state foes in terms of non-conference games, and that's the only time they have been beaten so far this year. So those are two fantastic teams. And whoever wins that, to some degree, has a path to a state championship, although the team in between those two rivalry games in 3A would be Cascade, and they have a very good game against Tri-West that is coming up this week as well. So we will frankly learn a lot about the 3A bracket, John, on Friday night.
All right, I know you're great to speak on his career, and Bob Lovell will be as well coming up on Friday, but Mike Gillen has decided to retire. Most recently, certainly the head coach down at Mooresville. What has he meant to high school football and his accomplishments in his storied career?
Well, simply put, he retires as the third winningest football coach in Indiana high school coaching history. You've got Bud right at number one, Russ Radke, who is still going, and he is the head coach at Knox at number two, and there is a chance they are playing in the state championship game with the likely Mr. Football winner and Miles McLaughlin coming up on Thanksgiving weekend. Next is Mike, and Mike is in the discussion, kind of like Red Fawn at the small college level or the late John Broughton at Pendleton Heights. These were guys who spread the ball out and threw it around before that was cool. When everything was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, there were some offensive innovators in this state, and Mike was one of them. And so the fact that he did this for 47 years, his son Casey has followed him into the business, and after being a high school head coach, and before that being the play caller at UIndy, now he is at Wabash College, and Casey is exceedingly well known and liked in terms of football coaching circles, both in high school and college. But Mike is a Hall of Famer in many senses of the word, and that's also kind of part of the reason why we kind of picked that Chittard-Mooresville game last week, just in case that was going to be Mike's last go-around, and it was. Wanted to make sure they're to document it. And Mike is one of the all-time good dudes, and he will be missed in Indiana coaching, but he has earned a bit of a slower pace at the age of 73.
That is Greg Rakestraw. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He's got LN and LC coming up on Friday night. Plus, he's got the post-game show with Bill Brooks after the Colts take on Pittsburgh Sunday in Pittsburgh. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hey, Greg, thank you very much, man. I appreciate you.
Of course. Now, did you bring all of your clothes from 90 pounds ago to donate to Goodwill while you're there today?
Yeah, I did. We have made donations, and we've gone in to look for other stuff we might be able to find here. I love this place.
Very good. Very good. I was thinking of you yesterday, John. I was driving on the Redneck Autobahn and enjoying the beauty of October as I was driving through Greene County.
That is nice. Hopefully you weren't going 121 miles an hour like that chick they just arrested a couple of days ago was doing, evidently. So taking it seriously, the Redneck Autobahn right there.
No, sir. I set the cruise at 80, and no, I'm not going to hit the brake for at least 178 miles. So we'll just smoothly go through at 80 miles an hour and be good with it.
Well done, Greg. Appreciate you.
See you, buddy.
Greg Rakestraw on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, Goodwill, Keystone Way. We are in Carmel. The Colts Goodwill donation drive starts at 4 o'clock, 4 until 6. Cheerleaders, Mascot Blue, Grover Stewart, and more here, Keystone Way in Carmel. We'll tell you a little bit more about the situation coming up. Bob Kravitz, Boomer Esiason, and more for you on this Tuesday. Stay right there. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Ride with JMV.
Are you kidding?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Good songs. Good choice, James. Wahlberg. Goodwill location, Keystone Way in Carmel. You know how much I love. Big fan of Goodwill. Have been, continue to be. The Colts donation drive starts here at 4 o'clock. The cheerleaders are arriving. Blue will be here shortly. I know Grover Stewart from the defensive side of the football also is going to join from 4 until 6. Make your donations here at the Goodwill location off of Keystone Way. That's 1122 Keystone Way. We are in Carmel. You know what, and I say this all the time, what Goodwill has meant to me, and I'm assuming there are a lot of people that are also going through the weight loss transition, for example, and maybe you've been in and around Goodwill. Maybe you just did it in the first place. I had a friend of mine named Jason says, man, that is an absolute honey hole for jeans, and I get it too. But also you have to remember to donate, and you can donate with the Colts and their donation drive with Goodwill. In fact, Goodwill of Central and Southern Indiana and the Colts recently announced a community partnership rooted in supporting local communities through their donations. And that's why we're here today. I'm just here as well because I'm a tremendous fan of Goodwill. So stop by between 4 and 6 and make that donation. It is curbside service. You pull right on up, right next to me, in fact, and make that donation and roll on out. Hey, quick one, too. Win Schuler Spreadability, and I've never been to this place before, James. Here in Carmel, about a block away from me, is something called Neiman Harvest Market. And you know I'm from the south side because I don't have any of this, evidently. Neiman Harvest Market, James, it is packed full of the spreadability.
They've got the spreadability there?
The spreadability. Hey, not only do they have all 4 varieties of the spreadability, that includes the incredibly popular and sometimes elusive to find jalapeno pepper.
Oh.
Neiman, I think it's called Neiman's Harvest Market, which is right over here, a block away from where I sit right now. So if you're looking for the spreadability, especially of the jalapeno pepper variety, Neiman's Harvest Market, they have it all right now. So we'll add that to the list to your favorite Meijer location and to Gordon Food Service, the spreadability, which is elite-level snacking of Win Schuler's fine cheeses, original sharp cheddar, bacon, and cheddar. And as I mentioned, jalapeno pepper. It is great for crackers. It is great for chips. And try that on a grilled burger again. And please thank me later. The spreadability of Win Schuler's. Boomer Esiason coming up here at the 5 o'clock hour. Bob Kravitz going to join us coming up on the other side as well as the trade deadline of the NFL looms. Not this week, but the Colts do have to get out of town for Berlin coming up next week. So could something be happening this week? I would suggest maybe yes, to add defensively. We'll talk to Bob about that, the Pacer injuries, IU football, and more with Bob Kravitz coming up on the other side. The stream, the app, HD Radio. We're there right now. The AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Become a AAA member today. Keystone Way location. The Colts donation drive is just about set to get underway. The Carmel location of Goodwill with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You're not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
It should be more natural, brother. It should flow out like this. Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, we're rocking at Goodwill. Mary Beth Beeman is here. Hi, Mary Beth. Are you going to hang around to see Grover, or did you come to see me?
Well, I wouldn't see you, but
Oh, well, Grover's going to be here. The Colts cheerleaders are over there. I think Blue's going to be here. You know, the fact that you came over to me first, and I feel that that's a highlight, that's awesome. Thank you. Yes, I thought usually they're incredibly disappointed when they roll up to see me. Yeah. Mary Beth, is great to meet you. Thank you. Mary Beth Beeman right here, everybody. A fan P1 listener, and we need you all. I mean, all of us, too. 7 until 10, noon until 3, 3 until 6. All request JMV Takeover, B105.7, Saturday night, 6 until midnight. All of it we needed. Hey, the Colts donation drive is going on. The Goodwill location is off of Keystone Way in Carmel. And I'd mentioned the major factors as to why you want to stop by, and also my profound love of Goodwill in general, and especially this one in Carmel. More about that in a second. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is joining us. Back, it's been a while with our good friend Bob Kravitz from Roundtable Sports. Bob joins us. Now, we got a lot to talk about, Bob. It's been a while. I don't know if we can pack all of that info into this time we have.
Well, we'll do our best.
Yes, we'll try that. I'll start with the Colts, and then we'll veer off to the Pacers and IU football coming up in a minute, too. This 7-1 start, and I think you and I both agree that it's a must for them to take advantage of trying to bring in some help on the defensive side prior to the trade deadline. You agree with me on that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they have got to either get themselves a cornerback or an edge rusher. Who exactly? I mean, if Trey Hendrickson is gettable, I would just kick the tires on every decent edge rusher. Bradley Chubb is another guy whose name comes to mind. But they need help at corner. Jalen Jones will be getting healthy and coming back at some point, but they still need some help there. And, I wouldn't mind another linebacker. Jermaine Pratt's been okay. I'd like to see them upgrade there. But if they can upgrade in one or two spots defensively, I think they're in good shape.
Roundtable Sports and Bob Kravitz. He is on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I do want to get to the 7-1 start. And the way this team has played so far this year has been outstanding. And I don't know if we ever thought about this particular offensive group in suggesting that they do things we have never seen here. And thus they are doing things we have never seen here. And, remember, you had a couple of years of Andrew Luck, had an era of Peyton Manning, yet Daniel Jones and company in this offense, they're doing things never seen, which has been absolutely unbelievable for Shane Steichen and company.
It's been unreal. And I think we're finding out just how good Shane Steichen is, along with Jim Bob Cooter at producing this kind of offense. I mean, I thought they would be historically awful. I thought they would go 7-10 this year. I thought they were going to be bad and they were going to be boring. And I could not have been more wrong in my estimation of this team. They have been just outstanding. Offensively, to think that they are doing things that Andrew Luck never did, things that Peyton Manning never did with those great offenses. This has been a revelation. And I don't see, the schedule gets a little tougher now, which is why I think it's imperative for them to add to what they have defensively. But offensively, I remember a time not so long ago, we were complaining about their wide receiving core. Right now, I think they're the most multifaceted receiving core in the league. There are better receiving cores as far as having guys who can do different things. I think that there's nobody who compares favorably to them.
You know, Bob, what's amazing about that, too, is they've yet to have a 100-yard in an individual game, individual receiving performance, which, you know, you look at that and you go, how can this high level of offense be possible? But the spread of the wealth with this group and really just how the cohesion between coach, play calling, playbook, quarterback, offensive line, receivers, running back, rookie tight end, all of that has gone. I mean, it's just stuff we haven't seen.
Right. And look, it all starts with being able to run the ball because, you know, I mean, that opens up the passing game. And Jonathan Taylor, I thought we saw the best of Jonathan Taylor in 2021 when he ran for 1,800 yards plus. He's better. He is a better running back now than he was in 2021. He was all pro back then. He's become a 3-down back. And this is, I think it's his 6th year in the league. For him to take this jump and become a 3-down back is really remarkable. I mean, he's been solid out of the backfield, catching passes. He's become very good in pass protection. He was not a good blocker in the past, but he has taken his game to a whole new level.
No, that's Rick Venturi brings this up all the time too. I mean, he was a runner. It was like in basketball, you're just a shooter, or you're just a driver, or maybe you're just a rim runner, and that's it. But he has, over the course of his career, added everything that is necessary to make him the best running back in the NFL. Now, is that enough to buck the trend that has been going all the way back to 2012, being quarterback MVPs? I mean, we look at Adrian Peterson and Sean Alexander, and you go all the way back to 2000 and Marshall Faulk. LaDainian Tomlinson was another. These are former MVPs at the running back position. Does he have a legit opportunity to be that and to buck that quarterback trend for the first time in a while this season?
I think he does. I think if he can run for 1,800 yards or more, which he's on a pace to do, and continue to catch balls out of the backfield, block the way he's blocking. I mean, you look at the quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield, maybe Daniel Jones. I mean, Patrick Mahomes. Who among the quarterbacks has really stepped out, and done more than Jonathan Taylor early in the season? I mean, to me, at the halfway point, or just beyond the halfway point, he's the best player and he's the best offensive player in football. And I think right now, if you ask me, he is the MVP, not the offensive player of the year, MVP freaking P.
Well, I would agree with you on that, but let's look at this angle for a moment. So, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, MVP, and Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Could we see all that all rolled into one with the major players on this Colts team?
I think so. I mean, obviously Tyler Warren is having an amazing year. Not quite as productive as Brock Bowers was last year with the Las Vegas Raiders, but he's been really, really good. Steichen, I think, is the front runner for Coach of the Year. Maybe Jonathan's the MVP and Daniel's the Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, they're all in the running for those awards.
All right, it's I think been one time since I remember a win in Pittsburgh, and you're going on the road, and this Pittsburgh team, it didn't look good in the second half against Green Bay and losing on Sunday night, but still a tough team with notable names in Pittsburgh playing at home, coming off a loss. However, we're talking about a long in the tooth, an older group, starting with their quarterback and defensive players as well. How do you size up this matchup where, as of right now, the Colts are a road favorite? And, hell, it's got to be forever and a day since we've ever heard about that. I don't know if we ever have. It's early in the week still, but how do you size up that matchup coming up on Sunday in Pittsburgh, Bob?
Well, I did not realize they were a road favorite. That surprises me some. But, Pittsburgh is not a good defensive team. This is not your father's Pittsburgh Steelers with the steel curtain and Joey Porter and all those guys. So I think they can continue to put up 26 to 30 points just the way they have. They're over 30 in 6 out of 8 games. So yeah, I think they can put up points on Pittsburgh, and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they have got to get the pass rush going. I realize they had 4 sacks last week, but they were in a passing situation the entire game. So they had a lot of opportunities to rush the passer. I still think they need a closer. They need somebody who, when when the opposition's got to pass, you need somebody who's going to be dominant and get those sacks. Latu has made progress. Kwity Paye has had a game or two, but I still think they can raise the level of their defense if they go out and get themselves a quality edge rusher.
That is Bob Kravitz, Roundtable Sports. Bob's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. IU football, speaking of amazing, has been absolutely amazing once again. The second-ranked Hoosiers, and you're a graduate of IU, much like me in watching IU football over the years. We never, ever thought it was going to be like this for a moment, much less going back-to-back seasons in this capacity, and really rounding into form to have an even more special season this year in year number 2 of Curt Cignetti. Have you ever seen an IU football team on both sides of the football up front be as physical as this group? Because that's the one thing that stands out to me through all else is the physicality of this team they bring up front both offensively and defensively.
Well, you look at the history of IU, they've always had good skill position guys. But, you go back to Antoine Randall L., as electric as he was, I don't believe they ever went to a bowl game with him. They've always had guys on the outside. They've had running backs, but they've never had the guys on the line of scrimmage, offensive and defensive lines, who can compete. But I think this team can compete with anybody. I mean, hell, they beat Illinois by 53 points, beat UCLA by 50. They beat Oregon by 10. There's nothing unusual about this. I mean, they are on the line of scrimmage. They are dominant, and I've never seen this before from an Indiana team ever.
So there are a lot of things Curt Cignetti brings as a football coach, but how about, especially Bob, in this landscape of college athletics, just being able to pick the right guys to make up a roster, whether a year ago they were your own or, going out with a more broad scope to bring in guys this particular year. He must have right now either just the best eye for talent or a guy that's on some tremendous run, because you look around, especially even with the grandfathered in college football programs around the nation, they haven't been as good as he has in eyeballing that talent and then bringing it in, especially to Bloomington, Indiana.
He's great at identifying talent. He's great at identifying people with the right stuff mentally, as well as physically. And yeah, I mean, he and his development of these players. I think you got to give the weight coach the strength coach a lot of credit, because these guys are bigger and stronger than they've ever been. I think they can compete with Ohio State once they get to the Big Ten championship game, which will be an absolute blast at Lucas Oil. But yeah, I think he is dynamic when it comes to identifying talent, identifying the right kinds of people, and developing them into quality players.
Yeah, it is amazing. Mendoza, Heisman race right now. How many deep do you go as you're talking about the IU quarterback as well, as far as the race is concerned? He's got to be right there at the top, right?
Yeah, I think he's top 2. I mean, the only other guy that I think would be in the running would be Ty Simpson from Alabama. And they've got some brutal games coming up at Alabama. So, I mean, obviously you're in the SEC, so you're playing your league. You're going to see a lot of ranked teams. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Mendoza to me is the leader in the clubhouse. I think Simpson's been good. I think Mendoza's been great. And I told people, I said, as good as IU was last year, wait till you see this Mendoza guy. They're going to be even better. And they have been. This is like Shohei Ohtani stuff with the coaching staff. It's like we've never seen anything like this before. I mean, to come in and make a CFP with a program that's the losingest program in the history of college football, to do what he has done is utterly amazing. And I give Scott Dolson a lot of credit for being proactive and getting Cignetti signed to that 93 million, whatever it is, 8 years. Yeah, he'll live okay. He'll be just fine.
Bob, and think about all the complainers out there, the Paul Feinbaums of the world, who obviously they've lived and have their roots in the South and the SEC, and if you don't do it our way, or if you have an infiltrator out of the Big Ten of the Midwest, we can't have that. But you have all these big-time jobs that are opening up now, even after Penn State, and that was about as savvy as you can get to recognize that this is a guy that we want. We love the way things are going. It's an absolute windfall, and we're going to keep his ass here. And that's that. That's what they did. You did exactly what needed to be done.
Well, Ellis, you just opened up. Florida is going to open up. Those are all, fantastic jobs, which I'm sure he'd be interested in if he didn't have the extension that he's got. And, I'll tell you what, Zach Osterman had a good story in the Star the other day. Give a lot of credit to Fred Glass, the old AD. He started putting money into that program. Now, not nearly as much as they're putting into it now, but back a couple of years ago, he really set the table by putting money into the program, and we're seeing the fruits of his labors this season.
It's Bob Kravitz, Roundtable Sports, joining us on this Tuesday. Goodwill, Keystone Way, the Colts donation drive is officially underway here in the 4 o'clock hour. We would love to see you out here. And Bob's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. And, I was talking to Dustin DePurak at the Indy Star a little bit earlier. I don't even know where to begin with this Pacer thing. It just continues to get worse with injuries to a level, Bob, and we've dealt with injuries around here. Dealt with injuries and talked about them individually and even maybe a couple, but this many is absolutely new ground that we have forged here, unfortunately, on the injury front, and it's not getting any better anytime soon.
No, look, even if they were still reasonably healthy, I would have said in these first 10 games, they would probably go 3-7. It's a brutal schedule, even if you have all your guys playing. The situation they're in now is pretty dire. But look at it this way. All right, first of all, I think they're going to be around 500, and they're going to compete for a playoff spot. I think they've got enough talent, and I have a lot of faith in Rick Carlisle, who I think is one of the best, if not the best, coach in the NBA. But yeah, I'm. What was I going to say?
I'm sure it was profound, though. Yeah,
I'm sure it was profound. No, I thought it was going to be tough early on, but look, this is what I was going to say. If this season goes straight to hell, it's going to be like the San Antonio Spurs many years ago when they had David Robinson, and Robinson got hurt, and he missed the whole season, and then they draft Tim Duncan with the first pick in the draft and become a dynasty. So, really the Pacers can't lose here. If they're competitive, great. That's awesome. But if they're not, if the injuries are just too overwhelming, what's wrong with going into the lottery for this year and adding another piece to what figures to be a dynamite team?
Bob, it's the latest example of, much like we're talking about with the Colts, it's 7-1, regardless of what may be a soft schedule and what's to come or people not believing in them. You positioned yourself, you take advantage of the moment, the time, and the year, and you can worry about next year and the year after that some other time because you're not promised a damn thing in sports, and the Pacers are a tremendous example of that right now.
Absolutely. No, I mean, look, I still think they're going to be competitive. But you know, with the injuries they have now, obviously that's a hard ask at this point. But again, if it falls apart, if the injuries are too much to overcome, to get back in the lottery is not the worst alternative in the world.
That's Bob Kravitz. Talked a little Shohei Ohtani and a little World Series as he worked that into. Yeah, that was incredible last night. Roundtable Sports, Bob, where you can find his work. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Bob, I appreciate you. Welcome back, buddy. We'll see you again soon.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Bob Kravitz, Roundtable Sports. You can find all he is writing about right there. You can find us off of Keystone Way in Carmel at the Goodwill location. The Colts donation drive is going on right now, and it is absolutely busy. Grover Stewart is on the inbound, too. Colts cheerleaders are here. Mascot Blue is going to be here, and this is a fantastic event that goes on now until 6 o'clock. The Colts donation drive, and you know me, I'm a lover of Goodwill. So proud to be a part of this. I would love to see you out here. Keystone Way in Carmel, the Goodwill location with the Colts and our great friends from Goodwill. Dev's the on-site engineer. James back at the studio. Quick break. We'll come back. Boomer Esiason of the Fan in New York and CBS Sports Network, the former NFL quarterback, going to join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour as well. The stream, the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Losers last night in Minneapolis. 114-110 was the final. They lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And from the Pacer television and radio networks, respectively here, the former NBA guard Eddie Gill joins us now. Good afternoon, Eddie. How are you?
Good afternoon, guys. I'm good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm thinking maybe I could get a 10-dayer with this group right now. What do you think?
I mean, that's a marginal stretch, but I mean, there's spots open right now.
Just when I think I've seen it all. Did you just try to re-rack Eddie Gill? Because we just lost power again. We're good now. Hey, I didn't want to. Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Yeah, I re-racked it because I had no idea how long it was going to be till we got you back.
So I do want to finish out what I was talking about before we lost power here at the building. Win Schuler's Spreadability right next door here. It's called Neiman's Harvest Market. Fantastic place to find Win Schuler's. Now, you can also get it at Meijer. You can find it at Gordon's Food Service. And if you do see it, take a picture of it so we can see it and we can send people like I'm sending here in Carmel. That's where we are today. Win Schuler's Spreadability. We're at Goodwill. Carmel Way is our location today. The Colts donation drive is happening right now with fans, and Grover Stewart just showed up from the Colts defense, and it is absolutely outstanding here so far, and I love this place. I've been here a number of times, and we've talked about that, and certainly Goodwill is very important in my life, very important in other lives as well. The Colts donation drive is going on until 6 o'clock this evening, so certainly feel free to join us here at Keystone Way and to check that out. All right, a couple of things. Now, we may have lost power. We have regained it here of sorts, but we still have ways for you to contact me if you guys want to jump on board at 239-1070. You can call in 239-1070. We can talk about the Pacer injuries. We can talk about the Colts as we've done so far, as we talked about IU football with Bob Kravitz a little bit earlier too. But we can also hit you up on a text line at 317-239-1070 as well. We do have stuff to give away, and I can tell you exactly where we're going to be coming up later on this week. We got a number of things to do, especially coming up Thursday and Friday of this week, which we're very excited about. Thursday, Ale Emporium, Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, me and Brent Holverson. I'm thinking last night was a pretty easy call with Kansas City and the Commanders, but I don't know how well that I have done other than that. This week, I was 11-5 in all weeks with the exception of week number 2, and I think there was a little bit more of a struggle in week number 7. But we'll do our Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots, and also combine that with a tavern tour stop at the Ale Emporium. That is coming up on Thursday. Can't wait to see you there. And then on Friday, and I haven't figured this out yet, and I'm taking recommendations if you would be so inclined. Recommendations for a Halloween costume, because we are having a Halloween celebration at the haunted and the legendary Slippery Noodle coming up on Friday. Slippery Noodle downtown. That's where we're going to be for Halloween. That's a Bud Light Blue Friday. We're going to have Colts tickets to give away and simply put, be able to hang out with you at a place that we know it, historically speaking, is haunted. At the Slippery Noodle. Bud Light Blue Friday. Again, that is coming up on Friday at the Slippery Noodle downtown. Cannot wait to see you. Going to be a great week, honestly, this week. A fantastic week to take advantage of seeing the show live. Meantime, 239-1070. I should remind you that Grover Stewart is indeed here. Keystone Way, Carmel, Goodwill, Colts donation drive going on right now. Matthew's going to start things out at 239-1070 right now. Hello, Matthew. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you, John?
Matthew, I'm great. Go ahead.
So I wanted to call and talk about the craft fair that's going on this Saturday.
Oh, yeah? Where's this?
Yes. It's that time of year again. The Center Grove Craft Fair is The Center Grove Craft Fair
CG,
is back.
I got you. Okay. Tell us more.
The Center Grove Craft Fair is back this Saturday, November 1st, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Center Grove High School. Come experience one of the biggest, and best holiday shopping events around. And while you're there, make sure you stop by Hovey Art, booth S129 in the Student Activity Center. Hovey Art and Donna's Creation Store are partnering for the Center Grove Craft Fair, and it is your one-stop shop for handmade keychains, earrings, stickers.
Hey, Matthew. Man, this is Hovey. This is Matthew Hovey here, right?
Yes.
That's what I didn't know that this was Matthew Hovey. You're the singer.
Yes.
Well, good to hear from you, buddy. I didn't know that you're a CG'er.
Well, I do craft fairs, and this is my first year. This is my first year ever doing the Center Grove Craft Fair. It's the biggest craft fair that I've ever done. So I am going to be selling keychains, earrings, stickers, Christmas cards, bookmarks. My aunt is going to be selling lighted glass blocks and signs. So whether you're shopping for yourself or looking for that perfect gift, you'll find something totally unique and made with heart. Plus, when you buy 5 items from Hovey Art, you get 1 free. That's right. Treat yourself and your friend without breaking the bank. So come join the fun this Saturday. Explore over 250.
I think we need to employ you as a commercial writer right there. Yeah, I think you wrote that up nice. Matthew, well done.
Explore over 250 local vendors. Enjoy great food and kick off your holiday season the right way.
Yeah.
Hovey Art.
Thank you.
In your life, we want to be a part. Find me at Donna's Creation Store at Center Grove Craft Fair, booth S129, this Saturday from 9 to 4.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see you there. And from 10 a.m.
Lord have mercy. Matthew, that's a lot right there. You know, normally when in this business, we have copies that go like 30 seconds or 60 seconds. I think Matthew was going for like the 10-minute mark right there. CG. If you guys remember Matthew, I think this was at Twin Peaks in Castleton. Was it Twin Peaks in Castleton when Matthew did the song? I think he did. He did a song somewhere right there. Matthew, thank you for the call. I think what Matthew is trying to get his point across, the CG Art Fair coming up on Saturday, November the 1st at Center Grove. Jerome's up next. Good luck with following that, Jerome, at 239-1070. How are you?
How you doing, my friend? It's been a while. I have a question for you. And I know me and you talked about it the last time we were in Broad Ripple at the OPT table. I didn't say it. I'm going to say it again. They're putting down expectations as far as the Pacers are concerned. I'm going to stand on my business and my word. Mark my word. Halliburton will play this year. Come to playoffs.
He will.
April. He will play this year. I guarantee it. I'm just putting my reputation on the line. He will play this year.
Listen. What's up, Blue? Blue can't talk. By the way, Jerome, I'm sorry. Blue's looking at me right now. Blue's speechless. I know. I don't know if I want the pie in the face today, Blue. So, hey, Jerome, I do want to talk about this really quick. I don't think this is going to happen because he has been ruled out. And what would make you believe that they would try to, and this would be rushing him back anyway? I mean, even if they had an opportunity to be top shelf in the East, clearly they're just fighting for survival at any level right now. What would make you think that you would even want to rush him back in that capacity?
I don't think they're rushing him back with modern medicine and technology. You got to see Jason Tatum is 2 weeks ahead of him. He's already doing a little bit of light running. That injury, it affects people in different ways. When Dominique Wilkins had it, he came back the next year and became an all-star. And Dominique was 32 years old when he tore his Achilles. Just like when Paul George went down, everybody thought he wasn't going to play that year with the Olympics. He still came back. I think he's going to surprise you. I think the problem with the Pacers right now, honestly, is me and you disagree. Why didn't they sign Westbrook? And I mean, if you're going to get Matt McClung, no disrespect, Matt McClung's okay.
Well,
but I mean, Victor was out there.
Because he was already signed when all this happened, though. They weren't going to start the season with him. But when all this happened, Westbrook is in Sacramento right now. And what you're doing, Mac McClung is just a body. I mean, it's like having a camp body. You have to have somebody. That's why he's there. I mean, hell, he's going to get clocked tomorrow night, and he's been there for about 5 minutes.
no disrespect. If you're going to do that, is 1-800 break the glass bottle and bring Lance back.
No, that's what they're doing. You're right. That's exactly what they're doing. They've broken the glass. You've got to have some bodies, and we'll see if they end up, taking advantage, of adding an extra body, which I think they can do with the injuries they have. And listen, Westbrook's not going to help this team, A, but B, he was already signed as they have gone through all this stuff. Hey, Jerome, thank you for the call. Right now it's just about getting game to game and having enough dudes to play. What really concerns me about all this, and it's early in the season, it's a tough spot to start anyway. They were probably going to lose some games to start anyway. But what really concerns me is the amount of workload, for example, you're putting on Pascal Siakam. He's having to do everything right now. And you know that they don't want to handle it that way with the wear and tear on Siakam. So it's Siakam, and then you can also factor in Aaron Nesmith, but more of a concern for me is that of Siakam. No, Mac McClung's brought in because you got to bring somebody in, and that's their choice. Westbrook was already signed someplace else, and I'm assuming Westbrook was not going to be in the thought process anyway. But you had to have a body, and that's why McClung is here. Zach is up next at 239-1070. Zach, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, John?
Great, Zach. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm curious. Would you take the Colts 12.5, the over/under?
On Sunday in Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. Overall this year. Well, I mean,
yes.
What Vegas had them at 9. I think overall. No, I'm sorry. 8.5. 7.5. Was 7.5 or 8.5? Whatever. I would think. Yeah, I would. I would think seriously about that right now. Did you say 12.5 or 12?
12.5.
I don't know about 12. I would go 11.5. I don't know if I'd go 12.5 right now.
So one last thing: are we taking the AFC title or just AFC title or just division title this year?
Well, you're 7-1 right now, and where you sit, I think you have to start thinking about being the number 1 seed of the AFC from where you sit right now. And a lot of people are going to suggest, well, the schedule is going to get tougher. That's not realistic. Well, I mean, right now, at this moment, at 7-1, it is realistic. It becomes even more realistic if you beat Pittsburgh and it's 8-1. So yeah, I mean, listen, you have to take this season as if it is your last. That's why you go for it right now. So, yeah, number 1 seed of the AFC, top spot of the AFC South, that should absolutely all be on the table because that's what 7-1 at this portion of the season, Zach. To me, that's what is justified in conversation.
Yeah, I was
else?
Thinking if I had the line at 12.5, if we're over, we're winning the AFC. If we're under, I'll take the division. Is where I'm at.
12.5, 11.5. I would do. 12.5. But the way that they've played, I mean, somebody's going to have to stop them offensively for one. But the schedule does get a little bit tougher. I just don't happen to think Pittsburgh's one of those tough teams on the schedule. Tough place, but certainly not a tough team right now. You may end up being right if you go the over on that, but like I said, I would probably do 11.5. I don't know if I'd go all in on 12.5 right now.
That's it. Thanks, John.
Hey, Zach, thank you very much. Quick break. We'll come back. Grover Stewart is here. Blue, the mascot, is here. Cheerleaders are here, and here is Goodwill. Goodwill, Keystone Way. It's the Colts donation drive on this Tuesday. We are outside as you pull up curbside, and absolutely glad to be a part of this. Thank you guys for joining us. Boomer Esiason going to join us coming up at the top of the hour from The Fan and from CBS Sports Network, the former NFL quarterback. A little bit more in-depth on this Colts start of the season. Would you guys go 12.5? We'll answer that coming up on the other side. Zach gives us a question to ponder. We'll do that. Stream the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
.93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You know, we're at Goodwill and Carmel. Major news today. If you guys missed this, Scripps agrees to sell WRTV here in Indianapolis to Circle City Broadcasting for $83 million. So you have RTV6, you have Wish TV Channel 8, you have MyND TV. I just saw yesterday where I think Wish is finally going to be on Hulu and YouTube TV, I believe. Still not on DirecTV from what I know right now, and I don't know how that is going to factor in to RTV6. Of course, RTV6, the longtime ABC affiliate here in Indianapolis. Now, we had heard this, and I don't know if this was ever solidified or what's going on with that, but we had heard going back about a month and a half ago where Channel 13, WTHR was going to be sold by Tegna to be a part of the group of ownership that operates Fox 59 and CBS 4. So we're thinking two operators of all television stations here in Indianapolis. Evidently, all commercial television stations here in Indianapolis. But that news, a lot of you are asking about that, and all I know is, what is being reported, that RTV6 is now being purchased and will become a part of Circle City Broadcasting, which has ownership of Wish TV, Channel 8, and My Indy TV. Of course, because Gina Glaros, friend of the show, is an afternoon anchor now on Wish TV, Channel 8. But that is the news of the day, the news of television news making going on. Now, we're here to help with Goodwill, the Colts donation drive, and Grover Stewart signing some autographs right now. The Colts cheerleaders are as well. Our good friend Blue is entertaining. Carmel, Indiana is our site off of Keystone Way. You know how Goodwill, how much it's meant to me, and how often I'm at the Goodwill locations throughout central Indiana. This is one of the good ones here, certainly. They're all good, but one of the ones I stop at all the time here is in Carmel off of Keystone Way. And the Colts donation drive is going on now until 6 o'clock. Boomer Esiason going to join us coming up at the top of the hour. And Bob is up next at 239-1070. Hello, Bob. How are you?
Hey, John, how you been, bud? I haven't talked to you for quite a while.
Where you been, Bob?
Hey, well, I think last time I saw you, we were down at the corner bar down on the south side, but you and Hagen were in there.
It was. That goes back, I believe, a year ago in June. That was a tavern tour stop for all of us there. And speaking, Gina Glaros and Lindsay Monroe were there at that particular event, if memory serves, too. Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Well, I need your help. Remember our old buddy that's no longer with us in the White Ranger? Yeah. I need you to put some sniffers out and find us a replacement.
Oh, yes, our good friend Rusty, who passed away a couple of years ago. You know what? I will, and they still are a problem. You're talking about the varmints in the yard right here that Rusty was so good at eliminating. Yeah, I haven't heard of anybody that does that now.
I got to find somebody because he was excellent, man. He just spoiled me.
Yeah, I know. I'm right there with you on that, Bob. He was, not only that, but he was just an outstanding dude in general. He really was.
Oh, just awesome. But if you come across somebody, you got to get word to me, man.
I will, man. I will spread the word like you will not believe once I hear. But I appreciate you, Bob. Thanks for the call. Good to hear from you again.
See you later.
You got it. Text line at 317-239-1070. JMV, what Kurt Signetti and his staff have done at Indiana. Have we seen a better coaching job in the history of sports? What can we compare it to? Hey, we'll answer that coming up on the other side as well. I've never seen anything like it and never thought we'd see anything like it at IU with a football program. Never. But they certainly have done that, to say the least. All right, Win Schuler's spreadability. Neiman's Harvest Market, a block away, has all four of the great Win Schuler products right there. Original sharp cheddar, bacon and cheddar, and jalapeno pepper. They have it there at the Meyer locations and Gordon Food Service. Hey, always there for the ultimate in snacking. The spreadability of Win Schuler's, as I've located another spot for it. Neiman's Harvest Market here in Carmel. The spreadability of Win Schuler's. Get it today. Back with Boomer Esiason and more. The Goodwill location here in Carmel off of Keystone Way with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Attention, whoever you are, this channel is reserved for emergency calls only.
Lady, do I sound like I'm ordering a pizza?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, so on the 30th at the Mirage, this band will be playing. Can anybody tell me who this band is? Anybody right now? This was a 90s band that had two notable songs from Detroit, Michigan, and I saw them back in the 90s at an X-Fest, and they were actually on the second stage of X-Fest. I want to say their biggest album, I forget what the hell it's called now. Normally it comes right off the top of my head, but the band is Sponge. That is Plowed. They have a song called Molly as well, but both pretty big alternative hits of the 1990s from the Detroit, Michigan band Sponge. So Sponge, Local H, and the headliner on the 30th is Art Alexakis and Everclear. This is going to be a good show, good 90s show for alternative music right there, coming up on the 30th at the Mirage. If you want tickets to go, number 9 at 239-1070, you can go on us. I think actually I'm going to talk to Art coming up tomorrow during the day. But Everclear, Sponge, and Local H at the Mirage. Just straight 90s alternative sound right there with three bands of that particular era. Number 9 at 239-1070. You're going to go on me. Boomer Esiason's going to join us coming up in just a couple of minutes, but Kenny is up next at 239-1070 right now. Hello, Kenny. How are you?
I'm doing good, Johnny. Just wanted to tell you how proud I am, buddy, with all your stuff you're doing, getting in shape and losing weight, and you're already the best sports guy in the city, so that just adds like an extra layer on there, dude.
Kenny, thank you very much, man. I feel fantastic, and I'm as healthy as I've ever been, and I thank you very much. I am glad I'm done it, and hopefully that others that want to feel better and want to get healthy will find their particular path too, because man, it makes a huge difference in your life, in your personality, really, just in your existence in all levels, how I'm feeling right now at the age of 55. So thank you very much, Kenny. That's very kind of Kenny. No, seriously, I have not felt better. We're at Keystone Way, the location of Goodwill. Thank you all for joining us, too. Boomer Esiason is going to join us coming up here in a couple of minutes. Grover Stewart of the Colts is signing autographs right now. We have a very busy scene. It is the Colts donation drive that is going on now until 6 o'clock. So the invite is out for you to join us here as well and to be a part of this, because it is one hell of a fun time. And Grover Stewart is here. Colts cheerleaders are here. Mascot Blue is here. Again, the Colts donation drive, the Carmel Goodwill, going on now until 6 o'clock. Boomer Esiason in just a second, but Tony is up next at 239-1070. Hello, Tony.
Hi there, JMV.
Tony,
hey,
go ahead, buddy.
Yep. All right. Calling about the Colts.
Yes.
All right. Calling about the Colts.
Yes.
I'm on that 12.5 over. If you look at their schedule, I mean, we got Jacksonville twice, we got Houston twice, we've got the games coming up here that I think are all winnable. And if you look at Kansas City's schedule, it's no cakewalk for them. They've got Buffalo, they play Denver twice, they got Dallas, they have the Chargers again. So I think the path through Indianapolis is a good way to go. Hey, also.
Hey, go ahead.
Since you got Grover there, want to know if he's giving an assist on that interception of his to Sam Ebicon. If you watch the replay of that, Ebicon kind of blocked off the Herbert, because Herbert, when that ball got tipped up, he was eyeing it and looked like he could possibly have caught his own deflection and Evacon just kind of walled him off for Grover to make that interception. So great teamwork there.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely mention that, too. And thank you for the call, Tony. I appreciate that, too. Yeah, the big fella's here signing autographs right now. A great moment of the season so far. Probably along the lines of most memorable moments, the tip ball interception for Grover Stewart was probably that defensively of the largest. Now, the offense, I don't know which one you're going to pick there, but defensively, one of the, if not the biggest moment of the season with an individual play that did have a little bit of help, as Tony rightly brought up right there for the Colts. They're 7-1 on the road in Pittsburgh. That is coming up on Sunday, too. Hey, by the way, I did want to mention Obi Toppin is going to miss a month. Rick Carlisle said that a little bit earlier today as they prep for Dallas coming up in Dallas tomorrow night. Max McClung has been added to the Pacer roster as well. That news broke last night. Official today, James Wiseman also officially waived by the Pacers in a move as well. Again, in Dallas tomorrow night, that would be the Pacers. I should also mention coming up tomorrow night, Indiana State and Butler. That's at Butler. And a shout-out to Butler and Mike Freeman for trying to get me in the building for that one with my alma mater coming up later on. I should say coming up tomorrow night is that game with Indiana State and Butler, and a lot more for you, including World Series conversation with the Dodgers up 2-1 in the best-of-7 World Series. Game 4 is coming up later on tonight after the epic 18-inning game, 6-5 won on the Freddie Freeman walk-off home run by the Dodgers last night. Meantime, 239-1070 is that number. The text line's 317-239-1070 as well. Later on this week, we've got live locations for you. I'll tell you how you can join us and how you can win. Meantime, to discuss more on the Colts, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. About a month ago, he joined us, and we talked him up, and we said we'd call him back in a month. And he has decided to come back on with us, and we appreciate that. From the Fan in New York, CBS Sports Network, and the former NFL quarterback, Boomer Esiason, joining us now. Hey, Boomer, thank you for the time. How are you?
It's always my pleasure. I'm doing well. I wish I was doing as well as Daniel Jones, however.
It is incredible. We talked last time, and I had mentioned I'm going to call you back in about a month and see where we are. Your impression was pretty high level the first time we communicated this year. What is it now a month later with what he and this Colts offense might be doing right now?
I would say it's consistent to our previous phone call, and one of the reasons for that is because of Daniel's health. One of the big things that he had going against him here in New York is that he suffered 3 serious injuries. And when he did suffer those injuries, the team completely collapsed. So you knew that the team respected him, believed in him. It's just that it never, ever really got going, except for Brian Daboll's first year when they did go to the playoffs. And what you're seeing now is what we saw in that playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. The difference is that was 1 game. This happens to be 8 games. And the numbers that they're putting up right now, and with a huge assist from Jonathan Taylor, the offensive line. I'm watching the tape this past week, and I don't think anybody got near Daniel Jones. I mean, like, he literally had a wide open pocket to deliver the ball from, and it's one of the reasons why, they're throwing the ball as much as they are down the field, which is something that every team in the league would love to be able to do with consistency. So when I take a look at their win percentage, their points per game, the points per game differential, the yards per game, the yards per play, the points per drive, the drive scoring percentage, the amount of punts that they've hacked, they've only had 16 punts in 8 games, which is unbelievable. And their 4th down conversion is at 83%. Their goal-to-go rate is 100%. I mean, that's about as well as you can play on offense in this league.
It's Boomer Esiason, kind enough to join us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. There's something we noticed around here as well, and that was really in the early stages. And Shane Steichen had mentioned he needed somebody that was going to be able to put guys in the right position. There was so much pre-snap dialogue going on before the start of the season, and I think that holds true because it looks like this year with Daniel Jones, more times than we have seen any other here in Indy with Shane Steichen, that the playbook, and it's a substantial playbook, is wide open, every single page.
You know, if I had to advise young quarterbacks coming out of college, the thing that you want to impress upon your coaches is that you really do care about the game of football, that you want to love the game of football, that it's not about your brand personally. It's not about what you're doing away from the field and what you're wearing. It's about how you're preparing and how you're leading your team. And I will tell you that when Daniel Jones was coming out of college, I think he blew everybody away in that regard. And it's one of the reasons why the Giants selected him as high as they did. And unfortunately for those injuries, it kind of derailed his career a little bit here in New York, plus the changes in coaches and offensive coordinators. So when they finally made the decision last year and they let him go to Minnesota, and he watched Sam Darnold and Kevin O'Connell work together, and then he selected Indianapolis because he knew that he was going to be the starting quarterback because Anthony Richardson just isn't ready. He's not mature enough to be able to play at this level and to be able to absorb everything that goes into being an NFL quarterback. Now, Daniel had been through the school of hard knocks, if you will, and everybody loves Daniel. He's not the most gregarious guy, but I think I'm sure in the locker room that what they appreciate the most about him is the work ethic, the quiet nature about how he goes about his business and how much it actually cares, how much he cares about, you know, playing football in this day and age of, you know, $50 million quarterbacks. So, you know, the Colts are going to have a very interesting decision here to make, and that is to whether or not they give him a long-term contract. And I guess it's all going to depend on how deep they go in the playoffs and how healthy he can remain. And, you know, making it through 17 games is not easy in this game, as we have seen around the league, how teams have dealt with these injuries. But, you know, you take a look at these next 4 or 5 games, they're going to have a who's who of the NFL that they're going to have to play against, and I think this will give us a real good indication as to how good they'll be when they get to the playoffs.
You mentioned the demeanor and the personality of Daniel Jones. I think he and Shane Steichen are so similar, and you don't have to be. I mean, you can be completely opposite of your head coach, but it seems like in these circumstances, you have two guys, coach and player, in this case the quarterback, that have similar personalities. It certainly has helped.
Yeah, you know, what it really reminds me of, and I know, you know, you guys have, I probably fond memories of Frank Reich, who was the head coach there for all those years, so all these different quarterbacks. And Shane is a really good friend of Frank, and they coach together, and they know each other really, really well. And when Shane got the job, Frank was really, really happy for him. And, you know, Shane was stuck because, you know, you inherit a quarterback situation that every year it seemed to be a different quarterback. And then for whatever reason, they decided to draft Anthony Richardson as high as they did, and they put him out on the field when he wasn't ready. So they were kind of stuck in that quarterback quandary. And now, lo and behold, they have a guy who's been through it, who's got the scars, and who certainly has the intelligence to play the position and play it in a way that now Shane Steichen can call pretty much any play, any formation, any situation. He trusts the guy behind center, and that's the win for the head coach, and that's what every head coach in this league desires more than anything, is to have that guy behind center that he can trust, that when he calls a play, he's going to have the guys in the right formations. He's going to be able to make the right audibles at the line of scrimmage. He's going to be able to make the right run checks to make sure that Jonathan Taylor is running to the side of the defense that the offense feels like that's where they should go. That's what the game plan should tell them. And there's not a lot of, you know, miscommunication, which is unfortunately, I think, the situation that was occurring with Anthony Richardson.
Boomer Esiason joins us from the Fan in New York. You rattled off a lot of just incredible offensive stats for the Colts. I think the one that stands out to me, and you can speak to this as a former NFL quarterback, they have yet to have a 100-yard receiver. And what this offense has done and what Daniel Jones has done and the play calling with Shane Steichen, it's spread it around where, I mean, you look at the results from Tyler Warren and Michael Pittman Jr. and Alec Pierce, you know, obviously the running game of Jonathan Taylor, but the passing game is so robust, yet not to have a 100-yard receiver in one game yet this season seems to me also very remarkable.
Well, you know, that's the way, you know, the West Coast offense used to be played, although Jerry Rice kind of blew that theory out of the water, but everybody needs to get involved. And when everybody's involved, everybody feels like they have skin in the game, and that means you have a very high morale. Everybody can't wait to get to work. They don't want to be the guy that's going to make the mistake, that's going to lose their next game. You know, to me, when I look at this and the fact that the the Colts are averaging 33.8 points per game. Think about that for 1 minute. There's only one quarterback in Colts history that in an 8-game span has averaged more points per game than Daniel Jones. And his name is not Andrew Luck. His name is not Peyton Manning. His name is Johnny Unitas. So that tells you just how good it really is. And, I think the draft pick of Ty Warren was a home run for them. And Daniel's smart enough and Shane is smart enough offensively to make sure that they get that young kid involved. And Michael Pittman's probably one of the more underrated wide receivers in the league, and his touchdown catch last week was just amazing. So what they really need is they need to stay healthy, just like every team in the league, and they just need to continue to run the ball effectively. Jonathan Taylor's name is going to definitely be in the MVP conversation if he stays on the field and he continues to produce the way that he is producing. So there's a lot of great things that are happening, but when you control the line of scrimmage, you run the ball effectively, and your quarterback barely gets touched, you're going to be able to put up the numbers, and you're going to be able to control the game the way the Colts have done in their 7 victories.
Hey, Boomer, you mentioned Jonathan Taylor as well. You go all the way back to basically, 2012, the last time there was a non-quarterback to win the MVP, and we're talking about guys like Tomlinson and Peterson and Alexander and Marshall Faulk going all the way back to 2000. Do you think that it's legitimate that Jonathan Taylor could buck that trend and win the MVP this year? Because, listen, the most valuable, because you look at it that way with Daniel Jones, they've just done some things offensively with Daniel Jones they weren't doing or would not do without him. But I still think the straw that stirs is what productivity-wise Taylor gets them. What do you think about that as far as the MVP is concerned with Taylor out of the backfield?
Well, Saquon Barkley had over 2,000 yards rushing last year, and he was in the conversation, but he didn't win it. But, Jonathan Taylor certainly right now is knee-deep in that conversation. But you got to remember, when you watch Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and it's not going to be Lamar this year just simply because he's gotten injured. And, of course, Daniel Jones is going to be in that conversation. Drake May for the New England Patriots is doing things that no other quarterback has done up there for that franchise, believe it or not. He still hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, but in his second year, he's putting up spectacular numbers as well. And I would say that he does not have Jonathan Taylor in the backfield for him. So Jonathan will definitely be getting a lot of looks. I think there's going to be a lot of support for him. But again, remember, we're only halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And we have so many games left to play. And what happened to teams earlier in the season, like the Baltimore Ravens with all the injuries, that can turn around and happen to anybody else the second half of the season. So, when I look at this, I just look at a team that seems to be, finding its rhythm. They trust each other. They're playing well together. And by the way, they have an underrated defense too. Chris Ballard's done a good job there. All the years that Frank worked with him, he said, man, he always got me good players. We just couldn't find that stability at quarterback. And, that was unfortunate for Frank. But it's turned out well for Chris because he made the right decision with the right quarterback. And right now, like I said, they're healthy, and that's one of the reasons why they're 7-1.
And you know what, Boom? I'm expecting them to be active prior to this trade deadline coming up here as well. And probably this week, considering they have to go to Berlin and take on the Falcons coming up after this weekend. But should be interesting to see if they address some needs at corner, maybe an edge rusher or something like that prior to the
everybody love an edge rusher in a corner.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why the Rams just did what they did. They
exactly.
Made a trade for McCreary from the Titans. And, you better not be sitting, too happy. There's always places you can improve. And there'll be players that are available. The question is, what are you willing to give up right now? And should you be all in? For me, if I am running the Colts, I am all in. This is their year. This is their moment. And, they need to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I think they're going to be really difficult to beat in that dome. And, and that would be the home field advantage that would give them, I think, the inside track to the Super Bowl this year if they can continue to do what we have seen these first 8 weeks.
And we also, I'm not looking ahead because you have Pittsburgh. That's been historically tough for anybody to win, much less the Colts coming up this weekend, and then to Berlin against Atlanta bye week, and then you go to Arrowhead and you see Kansas City. And as we witnessed last night, it looks like that offense and that team is now rounding into shape. I'll say the other thing about Kansas City, we don't talk enough about their defense. Their defense is stout. Maybe not spectacular at times, but stout and stifling at times.
I would say the last 3 weeks, now it's easy to say this just because they've won these last 3 games, but their schedule is going to get tougher here the next 3 weeks. Best balanced team in football. They're kind of like the Colts. They're running the ball well. Patrick Mahomes is playing lights out. They're throwing the ball down the field. They get all 3 of their wide receivers now. And last night they were missing 2 of their best offensive linemen, and they still scored 4 touchdowns and probably could have scored a few more. So I do think that overall they're the most experienced, best balanced, most complementary football team in the AFC. The Colts are probably second. The only thing about the Colts is that they don't have the overall experience that Kansas City has. So it's going to be interesting as we wind down here and we get into December and we look at some of these games that the Colts are going to have to play. You know, they got to go to Seattle. Seattle's a really good team. I know that they still have Houston and Jacksonville, Houston twice for that matter. And Houston, I think, is not as good as the Colts. But, you know, these division games, they're the hardest games of all to win. So, and those teams that they play within the division know in order for them to get to the playoffs, you got to beat the team that's leading your division. So when they play Jacksonville and Houston, they got those guys each twice. Those 4 games will be pivotal, I should say, to be able to win their division.
All right, just some of the ways you can get Boomer stuff besides right here and listening. You got him, the Fan in New York, CBS Sports Network, I know FanDuel, just a variety of ways you can reach Boomer. He's kind enough to join us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Again, we'll check in later on this season, but I appreciate you jumping on here today and giving us a breakdown of this Colts thing so far, because everybody around here, and I think rightly so, Boom, they're very excited about this program right now.
They should be excited, and believe you me, I love talking about good things because living here in New York and watching these 2 football teams play, I mean, you know, you get hit over the head with the idiot stick every day. So I love talking about positive stories, and certainly the Colts are one of the best stories in the league right now.
Boomer, I appreciate it more than you know, man. We'll do it again soon.
All right, take care.
Yes, Boomer Esiason on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline right there. Yeah, really good stuff regarding the Colts. Podcast that, James, at 1075thefan.com. I did want to remind everybody we're live in Carmel today, Keystone Way, the Carmel Goodwill location. It is a Colts donation destination type of afternoon going on, and it is fantastic. You know how much I love Goodwill. You know how much I utilize Goodwill. I talk it up here all the time. And I know a lot of people we've seen here today equally excited about giving, donating, just browsing, whatever you're feeling. The Carmel location, it would be great to see you up here before 6 o'clock. Keystone Way, Goodwill. Later on this week, Ale Emporium, Castleton, that's Larceny Bourbon Locks and Luna Azul Tequila Shots. And then coming up on Friday, it is Legendarily Haunted, the destination on Halloween. And we're going to costume this bad boy up. That is the Slippery Noodle downtown, a Bud Light Blue Friday with your chance to win Colts tickets while we're there. But I want everybody to be in costume. And in fact, if we want to have a bit of a costume contest coming up on Friday, I think we can work that out as well. The Legendarily Haunted Slippery Noodle. That's a real deal, by the way, too. Slippery Noodle coming up on Friday. Bud Light Blue Friday. Cannot wait to see what you're wearing on Halloween. Quick break, we'll come back. Would love to see you here at Goodwill and Carmel off of Keystone Way. Don't go anywhere. The stream, the app, HD Radio, the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, and 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Well, we're waiting.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. We're at the Goodwill location for the Colts Donation Tuesday is what we're doing here at Goodwill. New partner with the Colts with community partnership supporting those locals here. And Goodwill has supported me now for at least the last year and a half or so. DJ Skid just stopped by here. Man, Skidmore is in the house.
Hey.
How'd you get here? You don't live too far away, do you?
No, I live about...
Is he on mic right there? Is that working? James, is he on mic? Talk again, Skids.
I live about 5 minutes to 10 minutes away, depending on traffic.
James, he sounded okay through the mic there?
Yep, we got him.
Okay, I want to make sure.
Hey.
Okay, go ahead, Skids.
Yeah, I got to tell you, well, you know, John,
Yes.
whenever you're in my neck of the woods
Yes.
or my hood, I always show up to
You
support.
do.
I was at the GOAT, which, by the way, is fantastic. And I come to the Goodwill because of my weight loss journey. I'm at a hundo right now, by the way.
100 pounds down,
Yeah,
DJ Skids.
and had to show up and give the support.
That's awesome, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you. I actually did a little pre-showing at the Wolfies right next door here.
Oh, well, of
It
course
is
you did.
conveniently located right next door before the start of this show. Hey, I want to mention, too, if you want to see DJ Skids, first of all, if you want to hear him, you know the JMV Takeover every Saturday night on B105.7 has DJ Skids. But if you want to see him, he performs live, bullseyeeventgroup.com and the Colts VIP tailgate. Presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration before every Colts home game. And I had heard that was the biggest one this past Sunday before Tennessee. And you can see it growing with interest with Colts fans that are getting on board with what they're seeing.
Oh, there is no doubt about that, Johnny. I mean, there was pretty close to 800 people there last time.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to tell you, the old Nash Vegas Titans fans, they're actually really cool. They came up to me, they go, go easy on us, man. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
No, it didn't. It didn't happen. But yeah, pretty awesome, and we're building. You can feel the momentum.
I want to tell everybody too, because you always go out, and so does Laura. And I've been asked, yet I've not been able to go out the past couple of years. You're a part of the Super Bowl party that Bullseye puts on, and this year it is in Santa Clara.
Yes, it is going to be pretty remarkable. I'm the DJ for the NFL Alumni Association and the welcome party on Friday night. Laura's the MC, and then on Sunday for game day, I'm actually the warm-up DJ for Irie on the red carpet. And I got to tell you, fans, hopefully the hometown team's going to be there, which would be fantastic.
That'd be something right there.
And
that would.
if, you know, the tailgate we do at the local version, imagine that times 100 on steroids.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Completely agree with that. No, seriously. But the Bullseye party at the Super Bowl is like almost like all 8 of the Bullseye. It's like wrapped up into one incredible event out there. And what it does, you have so many events going on leading up to Super Bowl, and you know Bullseye puts on one of the best and most noted this year in Santa Clara, California.
It is the premier go-to event on the day of the game, period.
Yeah.
There's no other comparison.
It is incredible. There's no doubt about that. So when's the next Colts home game coming up here?
Late November.
Yeah, we got a little bit to wait now, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
But technically, we are the home team in Germany. But don't be fooled, fans.
Yes.
We will not be there.
Not be there. Houston on the 30th.
Yes.
Of November. So that's like a month away.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Over a
I
month
miss it.
away right now.
The momentum is gaining, and John, I got to tell you, man. Well, you know, Canet and the whole enchilada. Yeah, he does it and does it right. If any of y'all have not been, you completely need to go check this out, especially now with all the momentum going and where we are.
No question. Now, DJ Skids, by the way, too, Saturday night JMV Takeover with the mini mixes. And we've got 4 more of those before Christmas music hiatus.
Yes. New heat is coming, Johnny.
New heat.
Yes.
I dig on new heat.
New heat is coming. So keep it locked in, and I appreciate all of the support, yourself included.
Yes.
And we will continue to take this to the next level.
We will.
Thanks,
That's
John.
DJ Skids. Right to see. I bet Laura Steele's going to feel bad that she's not here, too.
Yes, indeed.
She will. Skids, good to see you, pal.
Thank you. Good
Congratulations
to see you, brother.
on your weight loss over there,
Thank you.
too. Down 100 is DJ
It can be done,
Skids.
folks. It can be done.
It can be done. Hey, just like the Colts donation drive, which is going on until 6 o'clock here, off of Keystone Way, we are in Carmel, really right next to you, Skids, right next door to Wolfie's, as I mentioned. I did a little pre-show rocking over at Wolfie's there. That wasn't bad. Later on this week, a couple of different stops for you. We're going to be at the Ale Emporium in Castleton. Larceny Bourbon Locks, Luna Azul Tequila Shots. That is coming up on Thursday for week number 9 with Brent Halverson and I. And then coming up on Friday, and this is going to celebrate Halloween. And I will be taking all recommendations because I have yet to get a costume. I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do. I always dig on a 80s lean. I think you know that. But we are going to be in full costume at the haunted and legendary Slippery Noodle on Friday for a Bud Light Blue Friday. So I'm assuming the next Colts home game is Houston. We'll have Texans tickets to give away on Friday during our Halloween show at the Slippery Noodle. And I know one of the reasons why our friends at Zinc and Bud Light wanted to do the show there was because it is noted it's haunted, the Slippery Noodle, on Halloween. Of course, you got a Pacer game going on later on that evening against Atlanta at the Field House. So it is going to be a great event. So costume up on Halloween and join us at the Slippery Noodle on a Bud Light Blue Friday. Texans Colts tickets to give away. That's on Friday. Ale Emporium, Larceny Bourbon Locks, and Luna Azul Tequila Shots. That is coming up on Thursday at the Ale Emporium in Castleton. Keystone Way, our location at the Goodwill. The Colts Donation Tuesday is going on. Kent from Goodwill is going to join us coming up here before the top of the hour. We're ready to go for that. Coming up on the other side, Iron Eagle joins us coming up tomorrow, too. Iron Eagle's on the call for the Colts and the Steelers coming up on Sunday. We can get into that and a lot of NBA with Iron Eagle coming up here on tomorrow's show as well. Stream the app, HD Radio, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Thank you for joining us on this busy Tuesday in Carmel off of Keystone Way at Goodwill. Quick break. We'll come back. Do not go anywhere. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
With JMV.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Yeah, come on over, man. Yes.
Here, I'll take
I
it.
love Goodwill right here. All right, we do have stuff to give away here, right? The used at the Mirage. That is the Utah band. Hey, thanks for coming up. Appreciate that, man. Good to see you. What's that?
You're not even talking about losing weight. I'm down 65.
You're down 65. Congratulations. There's another weight loss guy right here. Let me get back to number 9 at 239-1070 to go see the Used, a rock band out of the state of Utah at the Mirage coming up. I believe, James, again, is that this weekend for the Used? You're probably answering the phone right now, but I believe that it is. We have a really good list of shows that are in town coming up this weekend. A lot going on. A lot going on up here on Keystone Way in Carmel at the Goodwill location. The Colts donation drive has been going on this afternoon, and the president and CEO of Goodwill is here, Kent Kramer, who gets the double thumbs up seal of approval from fellow Sycamore Sean Collinsworth, evidently, that knows you a great deal.
Yes,
He
yeah.
says you're a great dude, and I trust what Sean says and who he says is a good dude. But, I mean, you spent time in Terre Haute much like I did, so
I did.
it can't be all bad at all. So.
5 years and 4 summers I was in Terre Haute.
See, I wanted to be there longer, but I got there late, and I should have gone after another degree or something. Because I wanted to stay there. I loved it. It was like I was like kicking and screaming. Yes. I go, I don't want to go. I'm not ready to go. Yeah, you got to get up out of here. I think they were kind of tired of making police runs to my house. But yeah, other than that, it was a tremendous time, and I love it too. Big Sycamore fan still?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Sports teams, basketball, football. You do the walk over to football homecoming
all the
for the
above.
walk.
Have done the walk several years.
Yes, you have.
Got a son that went to Indiana State as well. So,
what is your favorite place in Terre Haute?
So there's a couple.
Okay.
I've always been a big Ballyhoo fan.
Me
I
too.
love the Pizza King pizza there. There, and you may or may not know about Taco Casita.
I've heard about
Taco Casita.
Yes.
Is a great place, but Simrals and several other establishments. But the Valley is where a lot of my friends and fraternity brothers, and then we all meet up back there.
I cut my teeth at the Valley, at Simrals. I live basically a block from Simrals. The Overpass.
Yes.
The Apple Club. High Towers. I mean, I've been at, like, the Terminal.
The Terminal, yes.
I mean, all of those places.
The Terminal is back, and it's pretty nice.
It is really nice. They got some stuff going on. They do. Just like you do at Goodwill, too. How many locations in the state of Indiana?
So if between stores and schools and manufacturing facilities, it's right around 140.
Man, that is just fantastic right there. That is
about 80 stores.
How long have you been in charge of things?
I've been CEO about 11 years, but been at Goodwill 23 years now.
All right, some of the importance of like what we did today with the Colts donation drive in support of that. I mean, you guys always are supporting the local communities. How important is a day like today for you guys?
It's huge. I mean, one is, we're solid community partners of the Colts, and besides being a fan, they're just a really great partnership with them. But to raise the awareness of Goodwill and the good that we do, and the it all happens and it starts right here at the donation door, which we're next to right now. And you've seen the cars going by all day and people dropping off stuff, and that creates opportunities for folks when they do that.
I was going to ask you this, and one of the reasons I was reintroduced to Goodwill over the past year was because of weight loss and finding new clothes, which I had told you I dressed for success today entirely in Goodwill clothes here. And I've had a number of people come up and talk about their weight loss. Have you seen it grow with those that, are out of clothes they can no longer wear and need a new wardrobe, and utilizing what you guys offer here at Goodwill?
Absolutely. That's we love when people lose weight. I can't say we love it when people gain weight, but both occasions require shopping at Goodwill and donating, and so we're just really appreciative of anybody that's going through that type of change and using Goodwill as a place to take care of that. Because, as you know, you've probably had 2 or 3 different sizes you've had to work your way into, and this is a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, at some point I just thought I can't. There's nothing I can wear any longer because you reach all these different goals in this, and then I'm at a place where I never thought I would be. So here I am, and I plan on staying here. So you guys have been a huge part of the process. So tell folks out there if they're not coming by here today or can't get by here to donate, how they can do that at a location either here in Carmel or nearest them.
Yeah. Well, during break, you listed about 20 different locations that you.
I've been to. Yes, I've been about 20 of them. Yeah.
So call JMV if you need to know where to go.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, it's our website goodwillindy.org. We're open 9 to 9 Monday through Saturday, 11 to 7 on Sunday, and donations are open at the same time. So come shop, come donate, and come do good at Goodwill.
So how did you get involved with Goodwill?
So after Indiana State, I went to work for Sam's Club.
Okay.
And I spent 11 years traveling, moved 8 times in 11 years, and Goodwill provided an opportunity to get back to Indiana and be here. And I've just I came on board in 2002 and have been here since then.
Is recent, maybe the past 5 years, the biggest growth or step forward that you have seen out of Goodwill?
It has, and in my 23 years, it's been just a lot of growth, and we're approaching 6,000 employees in Indiana now, and just really grateful for the opportunity that provides.
That is the other thing too. Just besides the donations, the employment opportunities that you have across the border.
It is, and you've seen this from shopping and donating JMV. It's we provide opportunities for people, so for sometimes they don't get that chance to work, and people with barriers like a disability, or maybe they've been touched by the justice system, or maybe their education level is something they need to work on. We provide those opportunities, and we wrap around them and work with them so they can have success.
Yeah, and again, Kent Kramer is the president and CEO of Goodwill. We're going to wrap things up here in Carmel off of Keystone Way. The other thing I like looking for is my daughter, who is 15, is a big fan of old school vinyl. And you guys have one incredible vinyl collection in there. Is that hold true at all? I don't know if I've noticed a lot. I think some places have more, I guess, than others, like
they
record
do.
albums, old school.
It really depends on who's donating, but I know this, you're raising her right.
No, I'm telling you. Well, I went in there and I thought, man, there's a lot of Herb Alpert and Tijuana Brass albums located in there right now. But she's a big Beatles fan, McCartney and Wings and such, and is a tremendous fan of vinyl. And I noticed you guys had a tremendous vinyl collection.
Very good,
This Carmel.
We do. This is a good one to find vinyl.
All right, Ken, you got new ones growing continuously on the inbound here, new stores about ready to open?
One up in the Geist area and one in Zionsville.
The one in the Geist area right now is pretty darn good, I can tell you that, by experience. But where else?
Zionsville is another new one opening, and we've got a lot of projects underway. So just Mooresville area too.
Gotcha.
So one opening there. So
and you have Bloomington, Jasper. There's one in Linton and Greene County, where I'm from. I know that. So the Martinsville one, I know that to be true as well. Man, Kent, thank you for having us today.
JMV.
It's been a pleasure. I hope you don't mind because I talked you guys up endlessly.
Well, we appreciate it.
And I love what you guys provide, and I kind of look at it from my angle, but when you really go to one of these events, you can see just how important you guys are in communities, local and even expanded communities. So pretty special.
All right, thank you so
Kent,
much.
Thank you very much.
All right, go Colts.
Kent Kramer, go Colts, go Sycamores.
Go Sycamores,
too.
yes.
Indiana State and Butler coming up tomorrow night. That is Kent Kramer, the president and CEO of Goodwill, and a proud Indiana State grad. 4 years in Terre Haute, Indiana, my brother. There you go. I'd go back in a second if they asked me to. And if I didn't have any priors over there. probably wouldn't go back. No, seriously, I don't like Friars, but what a great time it was. Hey, thank you all for joining us today and indulging in what is a fascination of mine, and that is Goodwill and the Colts donation drive today. Thank you very much, Dev. Appreciate you for the hustle. Both Kevin and Ethan as well. James back in the studio. Remember, the spreadability of Win Schuler's available, and I pointed out a new spot here in Carmel where you can go. Neiman's Harvest Market has all varieties of the spreadability, including jalapeno pepper. Slide in there. Tell them I sent you. The spreadability of Win Schuler's for elite level snacking. Boomer Esiason, Bob Kravitz, Kent Kramer, Greg Rakestraw, Dustin DePurak, podcast 1075thefan.com. Ian Eagle of CBS joins us on the show coming up tomorrow. Back in studio with you beginning at 3. You guys have a great Tuesday. Thank you for joining us. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.